Hey, good night, good evening, depending on what time you happen to be watching this. Welcome to another episode of House of Stars. I am your girl Star, and today I'm doing a video on spiritual must-haves. You're probably wondering why I'm doing this video because I have a lot of people that hit me up, and I do get really busy and I don't get a chance to respond to people in orderly fashion. So I thought I'd do a video just to start up with little things that I do have that I would like to share on spiritual must-haves, and especially when you open your gifts or you come into this whole reality of realizing who your ancestors are, who your spirit guides are, or even just wanting to connect to the angels, anything like that of that sort. I'm gonna give you must-haves of what to have. So especially because of course, when you are coming to get in your gifts, what happens is, depending on how high your vibration is and how open that you make yourself while doing this, you can open yourself to very negative energies. And when I first started out, I wasn't educated on these things. I kind of had to find out the stuff on the way as I was going. So I thought, I'll do a video just sharing a couple things. Some of the stuff that I do actually have here, but if I don't have it, I will link it in the description box on something that I suggest that you purchase. So let's just get right into it. So I'm going to first start off with protection. Okay. Now this has been used in the days of old. It's very common. I see a lot of Middle Eastern people usually have bracelets like this, like in Greece and things like that. Well, a lot of Hispanics use this as well, but this is an evil eye bracelet. Okay. So this bracelet is used to ward off evil eye. A really cool tip that my friend actually taught me is that if you are a person that happens to send negative energy to people, I'm not saying that you're going to send negative energy, and I'm not trying to promote that, but say if, there's somebody at work that you don't necessarily like, or there's somebody you're going to be around that you don't like that much, and you don't want that energy or negative thought that you're probably sending consciously or unconsciously to come back to you, it's best to put it on your left hand. The best way to actually carry this and wear this is that you can wear it on your right hand, and that will protect you from any negative energies or evil eye that may come your way. If you don't know exactly what evil eye is, I will link it in the description box exactly what the evil eye is. And why you need to protect yourself from that. But this is a really good bracelet that you can have. Actually, a dear friend of mine that I call her a spiritual artist, because literally everything that she makes is art. She actually makes these. So she sent me one of these, which is really cool because she actually made it for me. Freestyled it, pretty much whatever she felt her vibration went with, and she made it for me and stuff like that. So I actually will link her in the description box where you can actually purchase one of these evil eye bracelets. Another thing that I would like to carry, now this is more or less, this is not really, depends on where you what sector you want to put it, because when it comes to spirituality, there's the mind, body, and soul stuff, which is more working on energy, balancing your chakras, protecting your chakras and things like that. Then there's more or less into the whole Wiccan type, where it's more or less, Wiccan's more of a European aspect of witchcraft. And then you get into the hoodoo or the voodoo, which is more whether it's Latin based or it could be African based. Now, of course, because I do work with my Rishas and I work with my ancestors, a lot of the things that I do is a little bit more African based. So this is a really good root to have that I carry with me all the time, which is called John The Conqueror root. So now what this root was actually used back in the slavery days, where if a slave didn't want to get beaten, or they want to conquer over the master, whenever they were to get beaten, they would carry one of these. And there's stories that have said that people that have wore these, whenever they were whipped, that even the whip or the lash would actually break, or something would happen that would prevent them from getting those beatings. But this John The Conqueror root is a root that is used to conquer over your enemy. So in unison with the evil eye bracelet, of course, this will protect you from any negative energy or enemies that want to send you any bad juju or any bad thought process or whatever the case may be, this is a really good root to have. And I actually will link this in the description box below where you can actually find this. And again, the name of it is John The Conqueror root. Now, a lot of people have been hitting me up about stones, and I wear stones myself, especially when I first started out opening up my gifts. That's something that I really leaned on, and I do wear stones, as you can see, as bracelets, and I do wear them as tumble stones in my bra. This is also for the men that watch. If you don't have a bra, you can clearly wear them in your pocket. Usually I suggest that whenever you're wearing a stone, that you always keep it close to your body. Now, here's a rose quartz stone, okay, which rose quartz is like the holy grail of all stones, next to amethyst, which this is what my bracelet is made out of. Rose quartz is really good for attracting love and promoting self-love, but overall, love is the most purest energy of all. So why not carry it around you all the time? So that also promotes the energy of love around you, picks up your vibrations. When I say pick up, it raises your vibrations, especially feeling loving feelings towards other, empathy, and for it to also be sent to you as well. Now, I did tip this in one of my videos. I believe it's my Valentine's Day video, if you have any questions about love and how to attract love. But what's really good, this stone, if you're a person that, you know, some people want to just hook up and not really looking for a hardcore relationship, if you combine the stone with carnelian and wear this and go out, guaranteed you're gonna find a mate that night. So yeah, here's some rose quartz stone. A next stone that I would suggest, if you can get it, tumble stone's a good thing, but if you're a male or somebody that doesn't wear like bras or whatever the case may be, the best thing is to get it in a bracelet. And they're fairly inexpensive. You can get a tumble stone as cheap as $2 at some spiritual stores. Bracelets range anywhere between $5 to $15, depending on what site you go on, because some people they don't necessarily charge by the make of the stone. Sometimes they do charge by the artistry, right? But another holy grail stone to have is amethyst. I always suggest that anybody that's starting up, opening up to their gifts, opening up to spirituality, is always carry some amethyst. Amethyst is a really good stone. It's connected to Archangel Michael, which he is the head angel. And he leads you down the right path. So wearing amethyst is a really good stone to wear because it carries you down and brings you down the right path. Also, it's really good for protection and very good for enhancing your intuition. So that's the reason why I do wear amethyst. I do wear it for protection reasons too, but mainly I wear it for when I'm reading, because when I'm reading, it makes it a lot easier for me to pull and channel when I am wearing a stone, rather than using all my energy and burning out fast. Because, you know, sometimes I do have busy days where I read more than 10 people and it's just like it gets really draining. So carrying stones and wearing stones is a really good thing to have, because of course you are drawing energy from the stone and you're not depleting yourself. And through wearing these stones and carrying these stones as well, that also, it does create a cleansing and a great energy within your auric fields. Another one to have is clear quartz, which I do have a piece somewhere, but again, I was rushing a bit when I was doing this video because somebody suggested I did it. So these are the stones. This is amethyst and rose quartz and clear quartz are 3 must-have stones, as like the holy grail stones to have and must-haves when you start out when it comes to crystals. Here's another thing as well, because I've had this issue. It's not necessarily about sexual reasons, but at the same time, I'm a Scorpio, so I'm ruled by my sexual organs. So even when I'm reading people, or even people that you've been in interactions with, especially in the past, if it's sexual, because you don't know who people are sleeping with, because it's not about the person that you're sleeping with, be the person that they slept with, and they're still carrying energy within that sacral chakra. But one thing that I got hip to, that my sister put me onto, was Yoni Eggs, which these are really good. I am not sure if these are good for men. And when I say this, like, you know, if you're comfortable with inserting things, because this is something that's inserted within your vagina. If you're in your rectum. I'm not sure if it's really good for that, but this is something that I would suggest or swear by when it comes to the females, just because I have a little bit more experience in that region of how this works. So what you would do is take the yoni egg and you would insert it. What it does is, if you're familiar with Kegels, not only does it serve as a weight to tighten and strengthen your pelvic floor, but because the stone is made out of metaphysical material, the one that I personally have, because this one's not used, but the one that I use is of serpentine, which is really good because serpentine is really good of shedding the old, really good of purging any negative energies and like sending and all that energy out that could be trapped in your sacral chakra or within your womb. But yeah, just inserting it in your vagina, holding it. Okay, so using your muscles to hold it and carrying it around. So not only does it have benefits to make your pelvic floor much stronger, i.e. your vagina tighter, it also does have cleansing properties as well. So this is like a must-have. It's a yoni egg, which I will link it in the description box, exactly what a yoni egg is and where you can find them. So yeah, moving on right along, I'm gonna move into cards, because I know somebody was asking me what kind of tarot cards they should purchase or what kind of cards they should have. Now, I do not use cards in my readings. I don't use any tools. I strictly channel, but it's not that I don't own cards. I kind of have them more or less for novelty purposes. Like, you know, if I have guests over or things like that, I take out my cards and I'll do a little reading. But for when I'm reading clients, I don't use any cards. But for starters, tarot cards, what people need to understand, they are not a toy. I disclaim this. Tarot cards are not a toy. They are it is an energy transfer and a portal for the spirit to communicate with you in order to give readings. So keep in mind, one thing that you must have when purchasing tarot cards or any cards of that sort, make sure that you have some sea salt and you have some sage on hand. So especially if your cards have been, you know, you've been having a lot of use of your cards and been using them a lot, make sure that you can put them in a bag. There's a little sachet you can get to put your cards in. Put some sea salt in the bottom and make sure you save them and let them sit for some time, maybe a few days before you start to use them again. But for starters, especially somebody that is totally not educated on using cards or anything, I usually suggest that people go more or less on a lighter or more white light term. So here are some cards that are really good to get. Some of you guys may be familiar with Doreen Virtue, which I think, like, she is the greatest. She's like the spiritual catalyst for all spiritual people or people who want to open to spirituality. So these are a few decks to have. Here's a life purpose cards where you can give yourself a reading on what your life purpose is and what's to come. Let me actually, maybe I should take out a couple cards so you can see them rather than show them in the box. Now these cards were mine. Okay, I think one of them my sister bought, but a couple of them were mine, and I gave them to my sister because she resonated with them more than I did. But here are the cards. As you can see, there's like children, there is healer. So you can simply do like a 3-card spread for somebody or even for yourself, like ask questions on what your life purpose is, or, you know, ask yourself if you're on the right track with your life purpose. These are really good cards to have with that. So they're very inexpensive Doreen Virtue cards. Also, I believe she also has workshops on how to really read them good, or to teach. I don't know if it's how to teach the cards or whatever, but she does have workshops pertaining to all of her decks, because I'm not sure how many she has now, but I know she has a lot. This is Archangel Raphael cards, which Raphael is the Archangel of healing. So if you need any advice when it comes to healing, whether it has to do with healing of self or healing of your life path and what you're supposed to do and how you will heal, here are some cards here that you can use in order to do that. And also another deck, which I feel like this is like the startup deck. This is like the beginner's deck when it comes to Doreen Virtue cards or oracle cards to have, is the Angel Therapy. These are really great because they're just simple messages from the divine on what's to come next. So, you know, say like if I were to ask like, angels, what messages do you have for me? And I'll pull 2 cards. I'll pull 2 cards. And yeah, so I have one of the cards I pulled up was Twin Flame, and another card is You Are a Powerful Light Worker. So these are really good cards. I will put the name of each deck in the description box. This description box is about to be long as ever. But yeah, check out Doreen Virtue if you're not familiar with her stuff. She even has a YouTube channel as well where you can get familiarized with her cards. They're absolutely amazing. And again, I will disclaim this when it comes to tarot cards. Please, 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 I disclaim this. Make sure that you know that these cards are not a game. So here's a lighter version of tarot cards to get, which I got these ones, which are the Zen Tarot. This was gifted to me by my dear friend Christina. She gave them to me for my birthday. I probably use them a few times, but I still keep them because, of course, they're a gift from somebody I love. And again, you know, they're always good to have. So they're a little bit more lighter. Like they're very similar to tarot deck if you are familiar with tarot decks, where there is a major arcana, the minor arcana, and each number runs through each suit and whatever the case may be. But it has its own set of suits and things like that. I believe there's like rainbows, crystals, things like that. But here's like the cards. They're really beautiful. And as you can see, I just showed you the booklet. They come with a booklet on each interpretation of each card. What I would like to say is like these cards are a combination of like oracle cards and tarot cards in one. So when it comes to tarot cards are a little bit more descriptive on exactly what's going on. So they kind of read much more mundane situations. As for oracle cards, is maybe overall just messages from the divine of what's to come and things like that. Again, when it comes to tarot cards and readings and stuff like that, I always disclaim that, you know, it's life. Some things may look a little more serious or detrimental when you see them in a reading just because you're knowing them firsthand. But if it wasn't for the reading, you probably wouldn't really know what would happen. So yeah, don't take tarot card readings so seriously. They are a guide. So when it comes to readings, always take it with a grain of salt. I even say this for my own readings, even though I like to pride myself on the accuracy and the messages that are given to me by the divine. But at the same time, don't get too carried away with them. That's something I will disclaim. So yeah, Zen Tarot, Angel Therapy, Doreen Virtue cards, and Life Purpose are all cards that I do suggest that people that are beginning in this line of reality or spirituality, whatever you may want to call it, start off with, rather than going into something or delving into something that is a little bit too intense for the spirit to handle. Now, I have a lot of people that come to me and say they have bad dreams, and everyone knows what a dream catcher is. Here's a dream catcher I have here. It's a really beautiful one, and it comes with a bell too. These are really good, and I don't know if people know this, but I'm just going to explain this. This is something that is used in Native Indian culture, or is derived from Native Indian culture, that if you do have bad dreams, is that the bad dreams are actually caught in its web. And over time, what happens is once you, I think it's about a month, you're supposed to cleanse. You can use sage because you don't want to wash it, because washing would obviously may damage the delicate little things that may be on it. You can use sage and actually sage it out or leave it out to like in the sun, just to burn up any negativity that may have been caught in the web. Another thing that you can sleep with when it comes to either bad dreams or dreams like that you can do is I usually like to put a cup of sugar water by my bed, and also an old Jamaican folklore of what my grandmother taught my mother taught me, is that whenever you have a bad dream, it's just to flip the pillow over or flip the bed around, and that can also change the dreams that you may be having. But overall, when it comes to dream interpretation, there's a number of different sites that you can find that have interpretations and everything. But keep in mind also that it's not just about the interpretation based on what is seen on these sites or what they say in dictionaries. You got to see for yourself what it also means to you. So I will link some websites that have dream interpretation in the description box. Also, a really good advice that I always suggest is to record your dreams. So when I say record, meaning like as soon as you wake up, they say scientifically that within the first 10 minutes, you remember your dream. So within that time, if you have a book that you can put beside your bed, you can write down your dream or write it in your phone, the dreams that you have. And over time, like I usually like to look back like a month later or so to kind of see what makes sense and why I had the certain dreams or if something's recurring, and see what it is so that I can actually correct that. Now, I have people that have been asking me questions, especially when it comes to money manifestation. And for me, when it comes to money manifestation, I like to kind of take the more occult or witchy bruja approach. So this is something that I got. It's actually made by Premio Mare, or it's an Indio product. If anyone's familiar with stuff at Botanicas and stuff like that, Indio products makes a lot of stuff. Also a really good one, but I find them very pricey because I am in Canada. I don't know what it's like for those that are in the States, is Lucky Mojo. But this is an oil that I've been using that is really good, really powerful stuff, which is called Jackpot Oil, which is a money oil. So you can use a green candle. I don't know, I like to use yellow just because I'm a person, I'm not just about like doing candles on like one thing. I like things to be done overall. So like if I had a client that said, oh, I have money issues, like I wouldn't just necessarily say, oh yeah, I'm gonna do a quick fix and just do a money candle. I would do a candle where it's like overall. So I'll be working on the abundance factor of it. Like, okay, not only will money come to you, but you will find the right job that you have money, that people will help you out when it comes to money, where you will always have money coming to you in all shapes and forms. So yellow and green candles are really good candles, and you can always use a white candle all purpose. Preferably, I like to use visual candles, which are glass encased candles, because that way you can actually see how the candle burns and if it's doing what it's supposed to do, which I actually will talk about that in another video. Sorry, my dog. Then I will talk about that in another video. But yeah, this is some Jackpot oil. You can just find money drawing, but I just like this stuff because it's like pretty strong and it's overall stuff. Actually, also the next day I'll probably get into, when it comes to doing candles, what are the best days to do them and things like that. So yeah, sorry about the disturbance in the background. As you can see, I do not live alone. My sister is doing her thing. So yeah, that's it. That's pretty much all the stuff that I would say is a spiritual must-haves. If you have any questions or concerns, because I know I left some stuff out, I'm just showing you based on some things that I can kind of throw together that I thought would be pretty good things to start off with. You can leave a question or whatever in the description box. Also, the next video, I wanted to do a Q&A. And when I say Q&A, not asking psychic questions, but this will give you a chance to get to know me. You know what I mean? Make me seem a little bit more human. So if you have any questions or concerns or any questions you want to ask about me, feel free. Use the hashtag #AskStar and hit me up on Twitter, which my Twitter handle is in the description box. And the next video I do, I'll be answering all your questions. So I hope this video was useful to you guys. I do want to thank you for your time and rocking with me. May God bless you and the angels protect you. Good night. Ow!